And Dr. Humes speculated that the hole in the president's throat, which was the situs of the tracheotomy, might have come in from the front and struck a vertebrae and glanced up and caused a tremendous damage to the top of the president's head. So she was pushed back into the seat by Clint Hill, who Secret Service agent who, notwithstanding carousing the night before until all hours of the morning, left the running board of the follow-up car, raced ahead, jumped on the car, pushed her into the back seat. He was Mr. Chief Justice. The word was that Warren's wife called him CJ.
Whose testimony do you think was most useful in developing the single bullet theory?
Commander Humes.
Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Well, Commander Humes testified about the path of the bullet. And when I questioned him at Bethesda on the Friday before his testimony, he told about how he looked at the bullet hole in the back of the president's neck and he put his finger in. And that the bullet hit nothing solid, passed between two large strap muscles, and didn't know what happened. There was speculation that the bullet found on the stretcher was thought to have been the one that went through the speculation that it may have lodged in the president's neck, and then on the external heart massage which he had, been pushed out onto the stretcher. It was later determined, as best we could tell, that it was on Connolly's stretcher. Some very confusing testimony given by a fellow named Jimison, as I recall it. Dr. Humes speculated that the hole in the president's throat, which was the situs of the tracheotomy, might have come in from the front and struck a vertebrae and glanced up and caused a tremendous damage to the top of the president's head, which was practically blown off. It was 13 centimeters across, about 5.5 inches. But when Humes then told me and testified, told me that on that interview Friday afternoon, and later testified that the next day he called up Malcolm Perry, who was the surgeon who did the tracheotomy, and that it was a wound of exit. It was not a wound of entry because it was jagged. A wound of entry makes us regular and round. Wound of exit is different. And of course the wound was destroyed during the course of the tracheotomy, so nothing more could be done. But when I listened to Dr. Humes and put two and two together, that the bullet entered the base of the neck, passed between two large strap muscles, they call them, went through the pleural cavity. We had the nick on the tie was preserved. It was cut off by the doctors performing the tracheotomy, which is the fastest way to get it off, so the tie happened to be preserved. And then looking at the wounds on the governor's chest, entering slightly to the left of his right armpit, grazing a rib, and tumbling through his wrist and lodging in his thigh. Admittedly a strange path for a bullet to take, but sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. Dr. Humes testified that he did not think that bullet could have gone through Connolly's wrist. So he, at that stage, he disputed the single bullet theory as I've just outlined it. But when we had Dr. Gregory, the orthopedic surgeon, testify and brought the x-rays in, he testified that the metallic fragments were found at various levels of the wrist, and as he described them, as I recollect it, they were postage stamp weight. The whole bullet, as I recollect it, weighed 158 grams, and they came as high as 161, and that differential could have accounted for the metallic fragments in the governor's wrist.
How was the theory received by other members of the commission?
I know that it was in the report, so the bottom line was they accepted it. I had a chance to give Chief Justice Warren a narrative on it from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository building, where Oswald's assassin's nest was thought to be. I estimate that I talked to him for about 8 minutes, laying out the whole line. And when I finished, he didn't say bye, he didn't ask a question, he didn't say a word. He turned on his heel and walked away. A little difficult to read him. Later I heard rumors that there was a 4-3 vote. Later I heard rumors that Senator Russell didn't agree with it, wanted the right of dissent. But all of that's in the rumor stage. So that's about as much as I know about what the commissioners did.